welcome to tonight's first review. Yes, tonight is going to be another doubler night, and why? Well, I'll explain that in the next review. I'm going to dub this review I'm slowly catching up review because I'm slowly catching up with my uploads. I'm basically within just a couple of weeks from now, so there's only going to be about a backlog of 4 videos left. Hopefully, maybe I'll be able to upload 1 or 2 of them tomorrow, and you know, it's all good. It's going to be a busy thing for my next break, though. But enough about that. Let's go and talk about what we usually talk about and what you tune in for, all 10 of you. And that is, of course, the beer. Now, tonight we are reviewing Samuel Adams Maple Ale, part of their autumn pack. And first thing I note is this is the strongest thing I've ever seen Sam Adams put out in their, regular releases. This is 6.4 ABV, which is almost Sierra Nevada strength there. So let's read the label. As vibrant in color as the liveliest fall foliage, with a deep red hue supporting rich notes of caramel and vanilla, followed by a smooth maple finish. Warming enough for a chilly fall day, these autumn flavors dance against a lightly sweet malt background. Cheers. So this is an amber ale. I believe previous autumns they released a pecan maple porter. I don't know if I reviewed that. It's getting to the point where I have like several hundred reviews, so I have to kind of like go into my directory and search if I reviewed something before, which I don't know what I'm going to do when I finally fill up this hard drive with reviews. It's kind of scary when you think about it. Okay, so I've been letting this warm up a little bit because I found it was better when it warmed up a bit. Perfect pour, nice fingers worth ahead. Rather dark amber, dark reddish amber, almost to brown, but still within standards, with a beige head, slight reddish tints. Immediately get maple, authentic maple smells, not like that fake maple syrup smells, but authentic real maple syrup smells. Kind of a nuttiness. Dark bready malts. Sweetness. And just a hint of floral hops. Just a hint. Prime thing I think of when I drink this is sort of like woody. It has almost a wood taste to it from the mids to the finish. Sort of like almost oak barrel. Maple is definitely there, and the front and throughout. Kind of diminishes in the finish. But finish lingers on the tongue. Just a slight amount of bitterness and also hop breadiness that stays on the tongue. Very malty. Almost cola notes in the mids. What's interesting about this, and why I let it warm up a bit before pouring out to about, let's say, about 55 degrees Fahrenheit, is oddly enough it seemed more cloying and in regards to sweetness the colder it was. There's some sweetness that kind of floats on top of the tongue there. But honestly, it's kind of well balanced with that sort of residual hopping, and you're mostly left with that sort of maple and these kind of toasty malts. Like toasted brown bread. Lightly toasted, not heavily toasted, otherwise would be in porter territory or stout territory. Oddly not very boozy, about medium bodied. Hops in the finish are definitely American. Bitterness is kind of balancing out against that sweetness there. Stays on the palate, I noticed. Doesn't clear it. For something that's maple, it's not particularly sweet at all. You definitely get those maple notes, but they're more aromatic than sitting on the tongue. You definitely smell them up here, and you taste a hint of it on the tongue, but it's definitely more wood and toasted malts on the tongue, I find. I guess that's why people, in the notes they say vanilla, but for me it's more like the sort of woody taste that you get from bourbon, that kind of char, and I guess you could say vanilla-ness, but it's, I sort of associate vanilla with a kind of creaminess as opposed to, twanginess like this. Wood has a twang to me. All in all, not overly complex. I think I've kind of run out of things to say. For myself, what do I think of it? Well, it's definitely an autumn beer. It would make a great finisher, kind of like a dessert beer, even though it's not that sweet. I wouldn't pair it with a dessert because it's not sweet enough to stand up by itself. It's not sweet enough nor alcoholic enough to kind of stand up by itself against a real dessert. But it definitely does feel dessert-like, so it's not something you go and start off the night with, or something you kind of drink continuously. You can easily see yourself getting your palate getting kind of worn out by this. Not overly complex, is what it is. Great autumn to winter beer. So, maple ale. Says what it says on the thing. It's definitely an amber ale on the darker side with maple aspects. Nothing too off-notice about it, but nothing too really outstanding about it. No great complexity, but just a plain drinkable beer. That's your first beer review for tonight, folks. Cheers.